So in the meanwhile, guys, you can go with the sample exam questions I've sent you. So later on, if you have time with Yogesh, you can ask him the answers for those questions.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Girish.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You're at work?
Yeah, me
Hi.
also. Good.
Okay. Good morning again to everyone. For those who just joined, Mr. Yogesh is just having a technical issue in logging in, so kindly bear with us. Now, as we're waiting for Yogesh, can I just have your attention, guys? So tomorrow, since this will be your last class, you will be getting an email from us. This is regarding the feedback form. Okay, so when you receive the feedback form, we are requesting you to fill it out, not only for you to get your course completion certificate. We would like also to hear from you regarding your experience on the session, so that we can use this in improving our sessions for the next coming batches. So once you fill out the feedback form, you will get your course completion certificate the following day. Okay. Now you can also give us Google review. We are on Facebook, Instagram, so you can share us your experience too. So if others are still contemplating if they want to come and join us, so that they can check on our Google reviews. I'll share you the link where you can, it directs you directly to the page. Any question on the feedback form? Okay, so Laddie said no question. Okay, okay. Okay, Nisu. Clear. Okay. And also, guys, for those who are scheduled to write an exam tomorrow, I mean, not tomorrow, on Friday, you will get an email coming from our exam department. It will have the link for the exam. She will also share you the meeting ID. So we are requesting you to log in at 10:30 to 11 for the exam briefing. Now from 11 a.m. to 1, that's going to be your examination. Okay. Your logged on and password will also be sent to you through email. So please keep an eye of your mails. It will come from Angeli at blueoceanacademy.com. If for some reasons you did not receive it, you can always contact me. Anyhow, my admission department keeps on copying me with whatever they send to you guys, so I can send it from my end. Any question for the exam piece?
Excuse me, how long this class it takes?
Uh, Ahmed, this class will take only for 2 hours. Yogesh, he's just having a technical issue. He's still restarting his computer.
It's taken 2 hours. My exam is starting at 10:30. So what to do now?
10:30. Okay,
I have to discontinue the class, right?
sorry.
I have to discontinue the class.
Yeah, you can leave the class anyhow. Ahmed, this topic will not be part of your exam. So
Yeah,
what we'll do is we'll just give you another time, another dates to attend the labor law class.
it's okay.
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 Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, you guys will be having an exam today. Hamid,
Yes?
you will be having an exam today.
Yes, today our exam at 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
Okay. So you can, if your exam is at 10:30, you can leave at 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning for.
Okay. No worries. Hi, Yogesh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Guys, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Fine from my mobile, but I don't know how I'll be sharing the screen because I do not have the slides here. So I I can see myself, but I'm trying to log in from the laptop and I cannot. Some problem with my laptop. I think Zoom is not responding. I'm trying since last half an hour or so, more than half an hour now. So some problem with Zoom. So if anyone, is it possible, Lady, if anyone can share the slides and I can talk?
Yeah, sure, sure. But you have to let them as a host, right? For them to
Yes,
share.
Lady, can you hear?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was asking if it is possible if someone can share the slides and I
Hmm.
can talk.
Okay, sure. Tofik, would it be fine if you share the slides that I've shared you for labor law?
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Sir, can he share the slides if he's not the host? Could you please make Tofik the host?
Tawfiq, huh?
Yeah, Tofik. So he could share the slides. Yogesh, how to share the slides? Tofik was asking.
Just go to share screen.
Share
He
screen.
can, yeah, go to share screen. Yes,
There you
yes, we can see. Yes.
Thank you, Tofik. Because I'm lag also on my phone. I had the same issue with Yogesh in the morning, since morning.
Yeah, I think some problem with the Zoom on my computer because other apps are working fine, but Zoom is not responding. Everything else is working fine, but Zoom is continuously showing not responding, not responding. I will just try once again.
Okay.
All right, guys. So meanwhile, we'll continue. I hope my voice is audible to everyone and everyone can see the screen. So we are going to talk about labor laws today, and labor law is a topic which we can always go at great length. It is something which you will learn better when you go through a lot of case studies, when you try to understand from legal experts, and like I said, the experiences in your company with people, different type of situations, because the law sometimes is taken as in a different sense for a different case. So it's like I said, it's a topic which you need to continuously learn. It is not something which you can become an expert in 1 hour or 2 hours discussion. But today we are trying to understand the basics of UAE labor law. We'll try to understand what are the key articles in the UAE labor law. The UAE labor law comes from Federal Law number 8, and 1980 was the first time when labor law was proposed, and then later on number 24 of 81, number 15 of 85, and 12 of 86, which we call the law. Now here there is an interesting discussion which we should have. There are different types of companies in UAE. So my question to you is, so UAE labor law is applicable to which type of company? There are three type of companies, majority company. One is mainland private organizations. Second is free zone companies. And third is federal bodies. Mainland private companies, free land company, and federal bodies. These are the three types of companies which exist in UAE. So what is the difference? A mainland private company is a company where you have majority shareholder as a local. So there must be a local national who is a majority shareholder in a mainland private company. However, in a free zone company, UAE allows 100% foreign ownership. There are many such examples. I am sure you know. Many free zones are there in UAE, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah, Ajman. In all the 7 Emirates, there are many free zones where you can have 100% foreign ownership of the company. Because UAE they see itself as a business-friendly, investment-friendly destination. So they have these free zone entities, which obviously are tax-free, and you can trade in the Middle East to Dubai or UAE. That's the purpose. So that is free zone. And third is federal bodies or the government, semi-government organizations. Now these semi-government, government organizations, they all fall under the ministry the respective ministry. For example, Dubai courts will be under the Ministry of Law, hospitals will be under DHA. So like this, all the government bodies, they fall under their respective ministries. Now my question to you was, UAE labor law is applicable for which of the three? Casey says mainland companies, okay. Okay, 1 and 2. Megha is saying. Maria is saying mainland, mainland and free zone. Eddie is saying mainland. Okay. Yes, mainland and free zone. So you all are right in one way, and some of you said precisely mainland. Now you are 100% right. See, UAE labor law is only for mainland private organizations legally, because these mainland private organizations fall under Ministry of Labor. Okay. However, what about free zone authorities? Don't you see free zone companies also have 30 days annual leave? Don't they have same sick leave? Don't most of the free zone companies have similar labor laws which you mainland companies are following? So why free zone companies are following the labor laws? Because these free zone companies do not fall under the labor law. They fall under which authority? Free zone authority. They do not fall under Ministry of Labor. Do you understand? They do not fall under Ministry of Labor. It means directly UAE labor law does not apply to these free zone companies. However, indirectly, it does apply to all types of companies. How? Let's say there is an issue between an employee and the employer um, in free zone authority. So free zone company is not able to resolve the law, the matter or the dispute. We go to the free zone authority. Now let's say free zone authority also says that in this case both the parties are not accepting what I'm saying. So where both the parties will go, where employee and employer will go if they do not accept free zone authority's ruling? They will go to court, right? When they go to court, which law the court is going to accept? And the answer is UAE labor law. The court is going to accept UAE labor law. So indirectly, even free zone companies, they fall under UAE labor law, and even the federal bodies indirectly fall under the UAE labor law. Not all, but many of the federal bodies, they indirectly fall under the UAE labor law. I hope now it is clear to you to whom does the law apply. Okay, so it applies to only mainland private companies directly, but indirectly it does apply to all types of companies in UAE. Okay. What aspects of employee-employer relationship it deals with? It deals with all the aspects. We will discuss some of the aspects in this session going forward. Yeah, so let's start with the basic articles. Now, here I want to give you some information about the labor law. You can keep a note of it. What is the most relevant source if you want to study UAE labor law, or you want to get the UAE labor law information? What is the most relevant source? So the answer will be, the most relevant source is MOHRE, Ministry of Human Resource and Emiratization. This is mohre.gov.ae is their website, and there you will get updates about all the major regulations, amendments, and basic articles. All information you will find on MOHRE website. Okay. All right. I hope now my screen is also working. But let's continue like this for another 5 minutes, and then I will change. I don't want it to. Okay. So the what are the first articles? We will first talk about the basics of UAE labor law, such as maintaining employee records. So for 5+ employee in any organization, even if it is a small bakala store, if you have 5 employees, you must maintain their personal files and leave record. Now, if I ask you, what do we maintain in the personal files? What do we keep in the personal files? Yes, good. So we keep passport copies, Emirates ID, visa, etc. You need to have a copy of their CV if they applied through a CV or resume. You need to have a copy of all the contact details, emergency details. Yes, very good. Personal details,
Labor contract.
labor contract, very important. There is something called employee joining form if you have, which will contain all these, checklist or the master data, employee master data details, leaves, right? Offer letter, certificates, very good. Previous employment records, if the person was employed previously, you need to keep that also. Yes, yes. So you all understand that it is a comprehensive document which we need to have. Sometimes you ignore the importance of these documents, but when the time comes, this document is vital, because many times small information if you miss in this employee record, it may lead to big issues in labor related matters. For example, uh, last year there was a situation uh, where there was a driver who died due to heart attack in a company in Dubai. The HR manager, group HR manager, was my student, and she called me. She was panicking, and she told me the entire situation. So what happened in this case was, this person was from Pakistan, and they were having some emergency contact numbers in the employment records or the employee personal file. When they called on these contact numbers, none of the number was working. They had two numbers. Now they were really worried. There were email IDs which nobody was responding. Emergency situation. So they sent someone, obviously relative of somebody else. They sent to their home address, which was mentioned in the contact details. When this person reached on behalf of the hotel, he replied back that they left this house 5 years back, and now nobody in the neighborhood knows where they have shifted. They have shifted to a city, but nobody knows the exact address, and it will take some time for him to track. Now imagine the person had died already, and the police is there, and the different type of authorities are following up. Then the embassy was taken into picture, and then embassy was able to finally locate the family, because bodies here, you need to do all the formalities first. You need to talk to the family, obviously, right? So the HR manager was under a lot of stress, and she was under a lot of pressure from the employer side as well as the government officials. So why it all happened? It all happened because somewhere she ignored the importance of these details, and many of us do. I mean, such things. How many times people always go and check the emergency contact numbers, or they try to call on these numbers to see if these numbers exist, right? So that's why it becomes really important, and we should know the impact if we do not have the right information with us. Okay, so 15 plus employee, we have payroll record, occupational injury, regulations, disciplinary measures, etc. Yes, Maria is saying it is employees' responsibility to update or change their personal contact. It is true, Maria. But let's say if employee does not fulfill his responsibility, then whose responsibility it is? So whose responsibility it is to make sure that employee provides the information? That is responsibility of HR, isn't it so? It is true that it is responsibility of employee to provide all this information to you. But whose responsibility it is to make sure the employee provides you this information? It is your responsibility, right? So in the end, it lies on HR. Yes, we should have once in a year, or maybe twice in a year, we should have these uh, verified, the contact details, etc. Or at least you should mail all the employees minimum twice in a year to check if their information are updated, and it should be audited once every year. All right. Next, categories of individuals who are exempted from the law are listed. So we all know, like we discussed, the federal authority, people who are working under federal ministries, people who are working in free zone authorities, people who are working with armed forces, police, security units, etc. Also, domestic servants, they come under individual visa rather than the employment or Ministry of Labor visa. We'll talk about it in a bit, so we can move forward to the next slide, please. Yes. The application is to be approved by Ministry of Labor. So we all know that before employment, we need to get a work permit. So that is the necessity. You need to get a work permit before starting work here in UAE. Usually, an expat employee will get a residency permit. First, they will get entry permit, then the residency permit. And that application must be approved by Ministry of Labor. Right? So here there is a, you can see there is a combination of both these bodies. One is Ministry of Labor and second is the Department of Immigration and Naturalization. Once you get the visa, then only you are allowed to work. So we'll talk about some amendments here in the coming slides. Can we move ahead? All right. So there are different type of sectors depending on the work permit. There will be different type of sectors. Okay, Ladi. One is permit for public sector. Second is private sector. Third is license holders and individuals. So when we say public sector, what it means is federal ministries, government entities, rulers, and their representatives. When we say private sector, it is for companies like yours and ours, the private sector companies. And then there are for investors and partners, people who are partners, managing director, or managers in the mainland or free zone companies. And then, like I said, individual permits for servants, drivers, etc. Now, when we look at the different types of work permits, we have the most common worker transfer permit, which means an employee already had a labor card working with a company. Now he is moving to another employer. So what we need to do, we need to transfer the worker from one organization to another and renew the labor card. Then we have part-time work permit. When we say part-time work permit, it simply means we provide work permit for certain number of hours in a week. Now, there is an amendment on this which I wanted to share with you in 2019. And the amendment was that earlier it was mandatory to obtain approval from your current sponsor if you want to work from home. Work part time. So what it means is if I am employed by a company called X, then I will take their approval and then I start working part time. But in 2019, there was a change which said that this NOC is not required if you directly apply to Ministry of Labor for a part-time work permit. This happened after introduction of VAT, the taxes. So the government found that there are certain areas where people should be allowed. If they want to earn more, if they want to work somewhere, then they should be allowed. And in fact, organizations across Middle East, not organization, the governments across Middle East, now they are realizing whether it is UAE government or it is Saudi government or it is Qatar government, now they're realizing that employment is very different than the traditional, like which was considered in the last 20, 30 years. So they are kind of changing. And we can say that UAE is somewhere leading these changes, which is a welcome step. I'm sure recently you heard the news in Saudi. If you want to go on vacation, no need of NOC. If you want to leave a company, no need of NOC. Have you heard that news? Yeah. So recently Saudi made these changes and UAE already had it in place. For example, if I want to go to my home country, I don't need my company's permission, isn't it? And that's what it should be like. So if for everything, if I need my company's permission, then it means that then my company can misuse its authority. And companies have done. A lot of companies have misused their authority. And then it becomes closer to the slavery, isn't it? That I will decide whether you will get a driving license. I will decide whether you will leave the country. I will decide whether you can leave the job. So that's not a good approach towards managing human capital. Now, slowly, things are changing. You all can see that things are changing now. So that was a welcome decision where employees are allowed to work part-time to earn extra bucks to support their family. And after VAT introduction, I'm sure many of the companies did not revise the salaries, right? But still we have to somehow manage our expenses. So there are some changes that are happening which are good for employees' perspective and also employer perspective. Right. So transfer permit, clear, part-time work permit clear, work permit for dependents, which means spouse, husband and wife. If they are having visa, the spouse can get a work permit under dependent category. Then juvenile work permit. Juvenile work permit is for kids, below 18 year of age, between 15 to 18, which is rarely used. Now the employment contract. So the employment contract is valid for 2 or 3 years, subject to renewal. Arabic, English are the two main. I think it is clear to most of you. I think you have seen the labor contract. It is always in two languages, right? Arabic and English. And there is a change also in the employment contract. I'll talk about it later. Earlier, there was this confusion of SBMB, but now that confusion is cleared. What you can do is you can issue an offer letter which must be identical, similar to the employment contract. Earlier, many companies were misusing this opportunity. At least some of the companies were misusing it. So, for example, I want to hire a person from India. So I may give him an offer letter saying your salary will be 10,000 dirham and you will be getting accommodation and food. When he arrives here in UAE, now this is not possible today, but earlier it was possible. And some employers were doing it. When the employee comes to Dubai, I tell him that your salary is 7,000, 2,500 I am deducting towards your residence and 500 towards your meals. So you will get 7,000 dirham salary. Now that is cheating, right? That is straight away cheating because you gave something else as an offer. The person left his job. He came all the way to Dubai. Now you are giving him a different figure. So the government cleared this by having a standard work contract. So what is the standard work contract? It is something which you will have identical to the offer letter. Whatever you offered, it must be identical. Now it has become a labor law. Okay. All right. So we all understand we need to have a written employment contract. There are two types of contract. One is limited contract and another is unlimited contract. Limited contract, it has an end date. The contract has an end date, whereas unlimited contract does not have an end date to it, right? All right. So what information you need to put in a contract? You can see all this information, the wages, the date of commencement of the contract, position, if any other benefit, notice period. Few things we should know when we are creating these contracts. Suppose let's talk about notice period. So some companies make mistakes, which obviously is not allowed in the main contract, but previously companies were doing it. Like notice period should be equal from both the sides. So I saw some contracts where company was mentioning that if we give you notice, we will give you a notice period of 1 month, which means if we terminate you, you will get 1 month's notice. But if you resign, then you have to give us 2 months notice. Now that is not valid as per UAE labor law. That is not legal. That is not valid because the according to the law, notice period should be equal from both the parties. All right. Right. So I'm sure you are aware about it. The Ministry of Labor has a format. We all know nowadays you can also download a MHRE app and you can see the standard contract format. Okay. So going forward, I think I will share my screen now. Just give me 1 minute. Also, we should know that just give me 1 moment. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so limited, unlimited contract, we all understand the difference. Unlimited contract does not have an end date, and nowadays it is becoming common for employers to have an unlimited contract. Also, an unlimited contract, usually notice period is 1 month, right? Now, one thing I want to tell you, be it limited or unlimited contract, and be it any kind of law related to the labor, what we all should understand, and sometimes HR people may not understand this, is that employment is a mutual contract between two parties. What are the two parties? Employee and the employer. Employment contract is a mutual contract, an agreement between two parties. And any of the two parties is free to break the contract at any point of time. Any of the two parties is free to break the contract at any point of time, but under certain clause. So that those clause may be like notice period, probation, Article 120, Article 121, etc. But what we should understand that it does not bind us. Otherwise, like I was telling you, then it becomes something else. Yeah. Yes. So we were discussing that employment contract is an agreement between two parties where both the parties, under certain circumstances, they both agree on certain terms and conditions. Okay, so let's talk about something which many of you have seen. What is Article 120? And what is the impact of Article 120? Can anyone share? Hmm, some questions I can see here. Yes, yes. So every 2 year, because the visa is only for 2 years or 3 years in some cases, like free zones. So that's why you need to review every 2 years. But there are some benefits for unlimited contract, and there are some benefits of limited contract in both the cases. We will come back to those benefits or merits or demerits of both. Okay. Yes. So Article 120 is when we can immediately terminate a person without any end of service benefit. So what could be the conditions under which you can terminate a person without end of service benefits? Okay. Yes. Number 1, if he found drunk at workplace, okay, falsify documents, forging the documents, true. Okay. 1 second. Maria, I'm just reading what you are saying here. Lady and Maria. If he's found drunk, falsify documents or forging the documents. 20 non-consecutive days absent or 7, very good. Yes. 21 intermittent days or 7 consecutive days if the person is absent. If he adopts a false identity, yes, true. If he makes a mistake resulting in the substantial loss, very good. And if he's under the probation, true. Okay, right. So I think most of us are clear when it comes to Article 120 and Article 121. So limited, unlimited. Now, quickly we will go through the standard work contract. I have touched this point earlier also, but I will quickly cover it. So previously when an employee was hired, you can see the terms and conditions of initial offer may vary from the employment contract. Now, unfortunately, an employee relocated and everything. Now he cannot go back and he had to accept this, which was wrong. So the new law make...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I have to leave. My exam is at 10 o'clock, 10:30.
All right, Ahmed, no
Yeah, in
problem.
fact, I sent a message, but it reached to Aya, I think. I don't know how comes. Only. Is it not Aya? I guess.
Yeah, I think you had to choose everyone when you are in the chat. If you just choose everyone, then it goes to everyone. No problem, Ahmed.
Thank you for the meeting. I enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Yeah. So what are the new changes in the contract? You can see it is mandatory now to have a clear, detailed initial letter, offer letter, which must match in the terms and conditions with the contract. This must be lodged with the Ministry of Labor. But still many people are HR people or some companies, they are playing with this. What they do is, I mean, not good companies, obviously, but what they do is they ask the employee to sign only the last page of the contract. The employees are not shared the initial pages and they are just given the last page to sign. That's not a good practice, right? In fact, I remember I was communicating with the ministry on something and I said you should make it mandatory for both the parties to sign all the pages of the contract. Right? I don't know if they are going to do it soon or not, but they should make it mandatory. Otherwise, some people who are not highly educated and they may not, or even in some cases educated, they may not be aware what are the actual terms they have signed. Although today it is very easy. Just go to MOHRE app, put your Emirates ID number. You will get all the details about your offer letter, your salary details, any other details related to your employment, even the history of your salary, how much they have transferred. Yes. Yeah. So, Laddie, that's what I'm saying. We need to, and this is what I wrote to my suggestion to the ministry also, that they should make it mandatory to sign all the pages for both the parties rather than only one page. Okay. Now, so yeah, these are the new changes, major changes. Probation period. Okay, some questions. How many days of probation period is there in UAE? What is the minimum probation period? 3 months. 3 months. Maria is saying 3 months. Yathiraj is saying 3 months. Minimum is 3 months. Okay. All right. And maximum is 6 months. So the answer is there is no minimum probation period in UAE. You can have 0 days probation. You can have 1 day probation, 1 month probation, 3 month probation, 6 month probation. Any of these. Probation period is optional. Right? Probation period is optional. There is no minimum period for probation in UAE. The labor law says you can confirm a person from day one, or maximum you can have a probation period of 6 months. So the article only states this: the maximum probation period in UAE is up to 6 months, and it is optional. Now, what it means is you can have 0 days, 1 day, up to 6 month probation you can have, or you may entirely ignore probation. That is allowed. Some companies, imagine there are some profiles where we do not give probation period, like my own case, let's take. I was working with this company as a trainer for good 5-6 months, and then I wanted to shift my visa to this company. Now, they were writing a probation period. I said, but on what basis you are saying a probation period? Aren't you aware about my performance? You know, I'm working with you for last few months. Do you need a probation period for me? And they said, okay, so, but it is mandatory. I said, no, it is not mandatory. Go to the UAE labor law. You will find it is optional. So just don't write any probation period in my contract. Right? I will be confirmed from day one. It happened. So if you take many senior level jobs, like if you are hiring a CEO, do you think a CEO will accept a probation of 3 months, 6 months? No. If you are hiring a doctor, will they accept a probation period of 6 months? No. Why? Because they are on such a level where they are leaving their, imagine a doctor, for example. A doctor is working in a market, in a country, or in a state, or in a small city. He's having his patients and everything set, getting good amount of money. You want him to quit all that and join your hospital in this country, and then you say that we are going to have you on probation for 6 months. After 6 months you can return if we don't like you. He will not accept it. People in healthcare know about it, right? So it is totally optional. Next question: what is minimum wage by law in UAE? Do we have a minimum wage by law? And if it is, then what is the minimum wage? So the answer is, what is the minimum salary you have seen in the contract? Zero. Zero dirham. Have you seen zero dirham contract? I have seen. Zero dirham basic salary. Most of the real estate companies, when they are hiring their agents, they are hiring them on zero dirham basic. Yeah. So first time I saw zero dirham contract was for a consultant, and his performance was totally based on commissions and incentives. He was earning very good commissions, around 50,000 dirham or so, but he was having a basic salary of zero dirham. So there will be no end of service, no other benefit, obviously. That's what it means. That's why we have a zero dirham, right? So that they are not entitled to any kind of gratuity or end of service benefits or leave salaries, etc. So again, is it fair to have a zero dirham? Now, if you think from that broad level, you will find it is unfair. Every country, every place, they have a certain expenses. So many employers are using this again to their benefit. For example, I know many people coming from India, not India as of now. So it's regulated more or less, but still nowadays people are coming from Nepal, people coming from from Africa and other countries. People working in 300 dirham, 500 dirham, 400 dirham. I recently met a guy who told me that he's getting 800 dirham salary, no accommodation, no meal. Now imagine 800 dirham salary, and you have to manage your accommodation, and you have to manage your salary. Meals. So I asked him, how is it even possible? You know, what, how do you survive? And then he said, sir, what to do? This is what they are offering to all, and a lot of people who are joining on these terms. Now, it happens because there is no minimum wage by law in UAE. Given the country situation, the kind of expenses we have, there should be like in any other country, there is a minimum wage by law. I am sure in coming years, UAE also will have a minimum wage by law. Otherwise, you cannot maintain those standards of living and standards of employment. But there is a reason why UAE does not have or cannot have a minimum wage by law right now. UAE allows people to come and work or start a business here without any taxes. So there is no earning from taxes. The government benefits are very limited, or I should say nearly negligible for expats. There are benefits for the locals, but for expats, the benefits are very, very limited. So somewhere the government should generate the revenue from, and then they can have all these luxuries. So this was a discussion in 2018 that we should have a minimum wage by law. And people proposed the government that this is the way you can have, but government, after all the brainstorming, they decided against it. They said, yes, we need to have minimum wage by law, but they also said we are currently not in a condition to have a minimum wage by law. So it was kind of postponed, but I'm sure after some years, somebody will again question it and it will again come into picture. Let's see how it will go forward. But if you want to bring your family in UAE, you need to have a minimum salary of. Why do you think they are not ready for it? Because of some market regulations and some contracts they have with the foreign bodies. So what was their logic is that when we allowed different companies to come here, set up their business in UAE, we said we are going to have a free market. They can trade freely, and it is a free market. But when we impose that this is the minimum wage that you have to give to if you want to hire anyone from here, then that is against the free market clause. So it's a legal kind of thing which is stopping them. But if you look honestly, imagine if a person is working in UAE, I don't know. I mean, like Sienna is writing 4,500 minimum. Yes, Sienna. So let's say imagine 1,500 here is the accommodation minimum. If you take up, I don't know how people survive with that kind of salaries, but even if you take what we call that uh, partnership, or what do you call that?
Partition.
Partition. Yes, partition. If you take a partition, it is 1,500, right? Plus you take 3 meals, it is 1,000 again. So 2,000 is going into meal and minimum 2,000. It may be 2,500 also. Then comes salary. So minimum it should be 3,500. Yeah, at least start with minimum 3,500 and then go up to whatever. True, laddie, it seems to favor the investors. That's the current scenario. It favors the investors so that they can attract more investment. But I'm sure once they are in a situation where that is stable, then they have to look into it, because that's a gap in the system, right? So what happens? Employees are sometimes misused, and the employers sometimes take advantage of all these situations, which is not good, obviously. All right, minimum wage required to bring your family here, 4,000. Recently, there was an amendment, if you guys have seen that. What if a female employee wants to bring her husband? What is the minimum salary for a female employee if she wants to bring her husband? Eddie says double. 10,000? 5,000? What about others? Anyone had an experience in this? Okay, so most of you are saying different numbers based on what you think. I was asking if anyone had experience regarding this. According to UAE labor law, yes, Yathiraj is right. Very good, Yathiraj. According to UAE labor law, earlier you can only bring your husband, or sir, a female employee can sponsor her husband if her salary is 4,500 dirham plus she is in either of the 3 professions. What are the professions? Teaching, medical, or engineering. So either she is in teaching job or a medical job or engineering job, she can sponsor her husband and children with 4,500 dirham salary. But in 2019 there is a change. 2019 or 2020, this year only, there is a change, there is an amendment. Now any working professional, any woman can sponsor her husband with 4,000 dirham salary. Okay, not mandatory a teacher, nurse, or an engineer. That's the amendment. Okay.
Now, types of leaves. This I'm sure all of you are aware about different types of leaves. Let us quickly go through it. I will ask some questions so that I will test your knowledge in this area. Annual leave. Total, how many days of annual leave we have? In a year, we have 30 days. I think everyone knows, right? 30 days. All right. 30 days annual leave in a year. Now, if a person has completed 8 months in the company, how many days annual leave he will get after 8 months? So Maria said 16 days. Sienna 16. Janely 16. You are right. So the formula is, okay, another question. If somebody has completed 5 months, how many days of annual leave they will get after 5 months? Yathiraj is right. 0 days. None. So what we learned? Number 1, up to 6 months, 0 days annual leave. Between 6 months to 11 months, 2 leaves per month. Third condition, after 12 months, 2.5 leaves per month. So which means after 12 months, it will become 2.5 multiplied by 12, which is 30. All right. That's the annual leave. I hope everyone is clear now. Next, sick leave. Similarly, I would like to ask this question. 0 to 6 months or before the probation, how many days sick leave is there? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, good. That's true. But what do you think? Is it fair not to give a sick leave within 6 months? No, it is not fair. Why? Because it's against a natural justice. What is the purpose of sick leave? If a person is sick, he should avail it. Do you think a person will wait for 6 months to get sick? In fact, UAE, first month, second month, there are chances that they will fall sick. So it should be allowed. Like, for example, we do allow our employee in wherever I work in any company, we always allow our employees to get sick leaves even during probation period. But the law is that all these leaves are given after the completion of probation. That's why currently according to the law, we need to give them after the probation. But you can give it with before probation also. You can give them as a paid leave. The law does not stop you from that, and then you can deduct from the total number of annual leaves, which are 15 in a year. So that is first part. Second part, how many leaves? So 15 leaves in a year paid, right? Second, what if the person is still sick after he has consumed all the 15 leaves, but he's still in the hospital or still sick? Do we need to give sick leave? Yes, we will have 30 days half paid sick leave. We will have 30 days half paid sick leave. What if the person is still sick? Do we need to give that also? So 15 plus 30, 45 done. Next 45 days is unpaid sick leave. So you can see total there are 90 days of sick leave. 15 days fully paid, 30 days half paid, 45 days unpaid. What if the person is still sick even after 90 days? you can terminate the person, send him home, like Tawfiq said. You can terminate the person with end of service benefit. You have to give all the end of service benefits till these 3 months. Okay? Khalas, but with end of service benefits, Adige, huh? This will not be Article 120. All right? So that is sick leave. Third is maternity leave. How many days maternity leave we have? Guys? 45 days in UAE. I think you all are aware, right? One more thing you should know, apart from 45 days of paid leave, there is an 18-month period, which we call the nursing period, nursing time. What it means? That a female employee, she can take 2 breaks of half an hour each on the working day to nurse the baby. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to take 2 breaks of half an hour. So usually women employees are given 1 hour straight. They can leave early or they can come late by 1 hour, depending on the company's policy. Okay. Now that was maternity. Next is unpaid. Yeah, interesting thing. Do we have a paternity leave in UAE? Very interesting question. We have paternity. 5 days? Okay. Okay. Now that is very interesting topic. Because you all have recently learned it from the newspapers, right? Can I saying no to paternity? Recently introduced, not applicable. So what do you think, guys? Is it there or not? First question. Is there any paternity leave or not? The answer is no. There is no paternity leave in UAE. Okay? But then what was this news all about? Recently we heard, right? There is a 5-day leave. This is a 5-day leave. We call it parental leave. What do we call it? Parental leave, not paternity. What is a parental leave? Both wife and husband, father and mother, will get a 5 days leave. So you can see how is it different from paternity. Paternity means only for father. Parental means for both. Now what does it mean? Your maternity leave has become now 50 days. You understand? And paternity becomes 5 days. So because the total parental leave is 5 days. Yes. Yes. So that's absolutely right. What you can see, what Eddie Gay has written, that's the new article amendment. A paid parental leave for 5 days to look after the baby, and it is until the baby is 6 months old. Okay. So up to 6 months of after the birth, obviously most of the people will take once initially when the baby is born. So that is the 5-day leave, but it is not parental leave. It is it is not paternity leave. It is parental leave, which is applicable to both husband and wife. Okay. Also, check it out on the Ministry of Labor also for any update. Yes. Now in this case, the mother can choose 45 days of maternity plus 5 days of parental. True. No, it is not mandatory to add 45 plus 5. It is not mandatory to add 45 plus 5, because even the mother can choose no that 45 days right now and 5 days I will take later. Within 6 months only you can take. Yes, it is different for the Amirati staff. For locals, the number of days are different. And even in different companies, remember one point, guys, that minimum UAE labor law only gives you the minimum bare standards, that this is the minimum you need to give. You want to give let's say 3-month paternity or maternity leave, 3 months. Do you think the labor law can stop you? No. The labor law cannot stop you from giving 3 months maternity leave. The labor law only says it is the minimum 45. The maximum you can give whatever you want. So that's what we need to understand for all the leaves and all the benefits of the labor law. You can always give more, but you cannot give less. Unpaid leave. So what is the unpaid leave that is allowed in a year? 1 month unpaid leave. Unpaid leave is approved as a leave but not paid, does not fall under any of the other paid leave. Hajj leave. How many days of Hajj leave? 30 days. Is it unpaid or paid? It is unpaid. According to the law, Hajj leave is unpaid and can be given once only in the tenure of the employee. That's the law. Now, if somebody wants to give every year a Hajj leave or paid Hajj leave, that is depending on the employer. Is give less than 30 days in a tenure. But you want to give more, you can give more. Okay. Any other leaves we have in UAE? So many times you will hear leaves like compassionate leave, emergency leave, etc. Now these are not valid as per the UAE labor law. They are not mandatory as per the UAE labor law. So it means they are not under the UAE labor law. But wants to give more, like employer wants to give a compassionate or emergency leave of 5 days. Most of I think employers have it, but it does not fall under the UAE labor law. You can give it, but not mandatory under the UAE labor law. Okay. So I think it is clear to everyone: the annual leave, sick leave, maternity, unpaid, Hajj. Official holidays you all know, right? I don't have to mention. So this month, in the month end, there is some good news, right? Anyone wants to share what is the good news this month end? Yes. We have 5 days weekend, right? So we have UAE National Day and the total 3 days leaves, and then total the entire week is vacation, right? So that's the good news. Yes. So I think I could see there are some places they're managing different dates. Some are saying 1st, 2nd, 3rd December. And I think 4th is the Friday then. We have to check the calendar. Hmm? First is I think Commemoration Day, second is National Day, and third is National Day holiday, and then is the Friday. Is that correct? Yeah. December 1, 2, 3. Yes. 30 and 30th. There is no 31st in November. 30th is working. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So we have December 1, December 2, December 3. Absolutely right. And then 4th is obviously Friday. 5th is, you know. All right. Working hours. So how many days of working hours we have in UAE? Everyone is aware. We have 8 hours of work. So see, the law says that the maximum number of hours an employee may be allowed is 48 hours a week. 6 days multiplied by 8, 48 hours a week. Usually we have 2 breaks, because there is another article in the UAE labor law itself which says that no employee shall be working more than 5 hours on a straight shift. What it means? There should be a break after 5 hours shift. We must give a break. If you take 2 breaks in a day, it becomes 1 hour, or you can have 1 break of 1 hour. You can choose whatever. That's how it becomes 9 hours of job. But you can even extend that after taking approval from the Ministry of Labor, but make sure no total number of hours cannot go beyond 48 in a week. Okay. Break after 5 hours. During Ramadan, maximum 6 hours. And Ramadan 6 hours is only valid for Muslims. True? No. Maria is right. No, it is for all, right? It is for all. People who are not fasting, they enjoy it more than people who are fasting. That's true. Take it from me. So it's a 6 hour only for everyone, not only Muslims, for everyone. Okay. Now, number of shifts may be also different. 1, 2, 3 shift we can choose, we can create depending on the type of industry you are in, like hospitality or retail. They have different shifts. So depending on our industry, we can have multiple shifts. But like I said, maximum number of hours do not exceed 48 hours a week. Overtime. So overtime is calculated on the basic salary or gross salary. The answer is gross salary. It is based on the gross salary, and during weekday 1.25, during weekend 1.5. So some people may have this argument that it is based on basic or gross. So we cleared it with Ministry of Labor. So they in written they have sent an email to us saying that it was on gross salary. I can share that email if anyone wants that, but they clarified the overtime is always paid on the gross salary, not on the basic salary. Yeah, if it is during the holiday, it's a national holiday, you are not allowed, but you can take permission depending on the industry. So it will be 1.5. Like on the weekend, it is 1.5. On the holiday also, if it is 1.5. Yeah, sure. I will share with you the email from the, because we had a discussion 1 or 2 years back. And, there was this confusion whether it is on basic or gross. So we wrote an email. Although it is mentioned in even in the law, UAE labor law, it is mentioned that it is on the basic plus other. So it is mentioned there also. But I will share the confirmation with you. Okay. Because many times even in the Ministry of Labor, you don't know, some people, they are not aware. They are not aware fully about the labor laws. So that's why we wanted a written confirmation from them. Maria is asking, is it mandatory to pay overtime? Can it be optional considering COVID crisis? No, Maria, it is not optional keeping the COVID crisis. It is mandatory if the person is working overtime and if you are taking it as overtime. So first you must be also keeping transparency in your attendance, and if it is there, then it is not optional, it is mandatory. Yes, the overtime does not apply to managers and senior executives. Okay. Or supervisors. Disciplinary. Okay. I think we need a break now, huh? Isn't it? Let's take a break. Otherwise, there will be over information. So we'll take a 15-minute break and we'll continue. Okay.